Hello and welcome to the bike show. It's a very happy bike show office today because, well, Matt's on holiday, which means he's not here. And Don has assumed the mantle of the executive chair. A bit later on the show, I'm going to get some ink. We're going to talk about the Isle TT and some other very important news. But first, a brace of Ducatis. The Ducati Scrambler has been a fantastic success for the company. Now, Ducati have stirred the pot thoroughly and brought out 2 new versions, and this one here is the Scrambler Desert Sled. The Scrambler has just become a Scrambler.
And here we have the other newest Ducati Scrambler. From the streets outside Ace Cafe in northern London and the streets of Bologna, this is the Cafe Racer.
So there you have it, 2 brand new Ducati Scrambler models, and Don, I think it's very clear that I've actually got the best one.
In what possible universe is that the best one?
Well, it is a Scrambler. You have a Cafe Racer. This is a Scrambler. It's the best.
If you're going to have a retro bike, you've got to have a Cafe Racer. I mean, I mean, I'm so into this thing, I even grew my beard for this.
Well, what you need is a Cafe Razor, then.
Oh, Jesus.
OK, all right, now there's only one way to sort this out. Let's have a race. We've not done
you want to do that?
Of course.
You do know this has Racer in its name.
Whatever. OK, we are standing out here in the cradle of humankind. I suggest that we ride to Rim and Rubber.
Rim and Rubber sounds good.
I think that should take me about 30 minutes.
Well, I was going for 20, but I'll order you a coffee. How's that?
I'll just have your beer lined up for you, which you won't drink, so I'll have to have it myself. All right, so be it. This all might seem like a bit of fun, but that's exactly what these bikes are made for, having fun. Sharing, as they do, the same engine and running gear, there's nothing in it off the line. But what Don doesn't know is that I have no intention of riding in his wheel tracks along tar roads. This is the first Ducati Scrambler with any off-road pretensions, so why would I do anything other than take every opportunity to get my wheels dirty, and the most direct route be damned. So while Don grins inanely and collects bugs in his teeth and makes silly noises, I get on with enjoying sliding around on loose surfaces whenever I get the chance. Of course, there's no way I can do the whole journey off-road, but that doesn't matter because the Desert Sled is just as happy on tar, and that is why my bike is so much better than Don's. It's more versatile. You look at the Scrambler Desert Sled, and with that stance and with that tall suspension and a V-twin motor, you expect it to have so much grunty, low-down poke. Most of the other bikes I've ridden which are like this, back in the 60s, 70s and 80s that is, had big thumping single-cylinder engines, lots of low-down torque. The weird thing about this Ducati engine, it's all top-end. There's not an awful lot of low-down. You have to work it quite hard to really make it go anywhere. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, it does have some good performance, but it's just not got that low-down lugging power that you might expect from a Ducati V-twin. So, while the engine characteristics might not be perfect for serious off-roading, it does have enough to be entertaining on the road, as Don was finding out.
The motor's grunty, but it isn't fast. It's still 75 horsepower, the standard Scrambler engine, but when it's dressed up like this, it just feels faster. I suppose your imagination takes over and you're suddenly, I don't know, Jeff Duke. Now this is the only Scrambler that has 17-inch wheels. That means it's got a shorter wheelbase, shorter rake, shorter trail, and better steering. It's also got the firmest suspension for any Scrambler, which means it's steadier, more solid. Duck into bends like a mad thing.
I can't help myself. Where this bike scores is, yeah, it's great on road, but when you get a bit bored of the dirt, of the tar, sorry, then you just head straight on to the dirt and have some fun there. Okay, this is never going to be as good as a dedicated Enduro or MX bike, but boy, what a lot of fun it can be. The suspension is really quite remarkably good. And these tyres that it comes standard with, well, they're just fantastic as well. I really like them. I really like this bike. It's just so much fun. And it actually, well, I was going to say it flatters my talent, but actually it doesn't. There's no talent to flatter. I mean, so what if I'm in a race? Don's doing his thing. He's probably there already. He was probably there a couple of hours ago. I'm just having too much fun to take the direct route. Why would you want to?
You know what? I bet I'm miles ahead of Harry. He's probably plodding along somewhere on some little dirt road. You know what? I'm gonna go back and do that again. I've got time. Why not? Yeah. Yeah.
Don was feeling smug with his speed, and I may have been messing around off-road, but I was still making progress. This really is the scrambler they should have built right at the beginning. I mean, what's the point of calling a bike a scrambler if it doesn't scramble? Okay, I know we did take the original scrambler off-road with a very talented man, but he's not exactly representative of your average rider. With this bike, it turns anybody into an off-road god. Well, maybe god's a bit too strong, but it is really, really good fun off-road. But having said that, this is a fantastic road bike. Urban conditions, through the busy streets of a city, this type of bike is absolutely fantastic. You sit up high, you can look over the traffic, it's super nimble, super punchy performance, the long stroke suspension just soaks up all the irregularities. This is such a hoot around town, you can't believe. So really, you can forget all the other models in the Scrambler range, this is the one to go for. It's great off-road, it's great on-road, it's the best of all worlds. Tackling the urban jungle has never been more fun, no matter which bike you choose. So, while Don gets to grips with a few laps around a roundabout, and I do mean quite a few, I just can't resist turning off the tar one last time, even though the finishing line is in sight. I suspect that neither of us is taking this race thing very seriously. After 30 laps of the circular Grand Prix track, Don clearly feels it's time to make for rim and rubber. Although, as you can clearly see, I have arrived before him, which is rather surprising as I wasn't exactly taking the most direct route. I can only imagine how he feels as he crosses the finishing line to see me already there.
Sorry, mates. I kind of got distracted and forgot about the race.
I could sit here and be angry with you for being about 5 hours late. But the truth of the matter is, I got here about 3 minutes ago myself. In fact, I got here that long ago.
That's about 30 seconds, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about 30 seconds. I also was just having too much fun. I kept on finding dirt trails, which I had to keep going and doing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Our 30-minute projection, well, 20 minutes in yours, kind of went out the window.
About 14 hours.
Yeah. Hey, what's an hour between friends? So, I think the idea of deciding which was best by a race really didn't work out, did it?
Yeah, the problem with these things is you end up having so much fun.
You forget about everything
yeah,
else.
in such a kind of chilled out kind of way that you forget all your worries disappear, such as Harry sitting in rim and rubber waiting for you.
And I was the same. Oh, Don's going to be there. Oh, never mind, just another dirt trail.
A bit more, you know?
Okay, so
yeah.
the cafe race here, is it any good?
Yes, especially from here. I mean, right now we're busy looking at it.
It does look
Look at it.
spectacular.
I mean, it looks so great. It's one of those few bikes that's actually better to look at than it is to actually ride.
Are you saying,
And it is,
are you saying it's
here's
bad
the thing.
to ride?
No, it's good to ride,
But
it looks even better.
to look at.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I've got the Scrambler, the Desert Sled.
I was going to say, it's so easy to call it a Scrambler, isn't it? Because it just looks
It's
scrambler.
been named, it's so good they named it twice, but we'll get to that in a minute. It looks great, it rides brilliantly, and it's actually not that bad off-road. How much is yours?
164,000 rand.
That's the same price as mine. So they're both the same. 164, that's quite a lot for a
Bit
Scrambler.
of money, isn't it, for sort of
Because
what is essentially a kind of runaround, fun runaround, isn't it?
I mean, when the original Scrambler came out, it was what? It was like around the 100,000, 110, 20,000 rand mark.
It's
which
not
was
the
okay.
1962 one, you mean?
No, I'm talking
that
about the
one-
modern day one. But I mean, 164, you're pushing it a bit for, as you say, something which is
Yeah.
more possible style.
But it is
over
a
substance.
Ducati. Come now.
It is a Ducati.
Here's that.
What would you give it out of 10?
About 8-ish.
I'd have to give mine a solid 8.5.
8.5.
Yeah.
I think
But-
okay, hang on. Well, 8.5. What is wrong? Where does it lose a point and a half?
I've no idea. I couldn't give it a 9 because I couldn't give it a 10. I just had to give it 8.5 because I love it. I love the thing.
Yeah, but it's just you're not quite overjoyed enough about it to be 10. Is that kind of?
You know what? It comes down to power delivery. It just needs a little more punch,
Yeah.
a little more oomph. All right, but I've got something about yours though.
What's that?
The name.
What
Scrambler Cafe Racer. Scrambler off-road,
Yeah.
Cafe Racer on-road. So you got an off-road, on-road bike.
Yeah, I was hoping you weren't going to mention that.
Yeah.
It is a little bit of an oxymoron, but yours is a tautology.
Ooh.
Ooh. I learned that from Stephen Fry. Scrambler is a European term for retro off-road.
Yes.
Desert Sled is an American term for retro off-road. So it's a retro off-road, retro off-road.
So it's a
with a weird accent.
It's a Scrambler.
Scrambler,
Or-
or Desert Sled.
Well, it's so good they named it twice.
So good a name and time. What sort of accent would that have?
Oh, we're not going to go there. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you after the break.